will use it against you
I'm sure my phone is
in the
off.
political realm.
I like that too, that if you go early, because then I can share. Because once the show gets started, it's hard to go back and start doing this.
Yeah, this just says the YouTube, not Facebook.
Alright, let me-
But if you want, yeah, I can transmit like 1 minute till on Facebook, and we can go live on that if you want, Alice.
That's fine.
I know Sonya used to do that, but then it was like you pick up all the other stuff you don't want to pick up.
all that stuff.
So you're not live yet, right?
No, not yet. I have it set up as welcome to our show today. Please welcome our guests, Mark from Mojica and Associates and Tanya from Life Choice Women's Clinics, promoting their upcoming event, Laugh for Hope, on April 13, 2017. That'll be the message.
2018.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
duh.
And I have another event too, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
maybe next year.
Oh, I'm glad you got that.
Talking.
I actually, you know what's funny? I did that in my speech too. I
Did you? I didn't catch
almost, no, I fixed
Oh, you
it
fixed
before, but I
That is the first time I've done it this year. It's like I've been
Saying
2018,
that we send out, like, a
2018.
That would have been a good.
Oh, this is why, because it's at 7 o'clock, and I saw the 7.
I don't know why.
I'll blame it on this.
It's fine.
So what I have been doing is closing.
Yeah,
this
that's what
door.
I did too with the other people.
Yeah, so we're gonna close it down, folks.
Can we lock the door or leave
But
it?
you don't, normally nobody's gonna come out on the weekend, so. We're gonna have to
What's
build a
your,
wall. We're gonna build a wall out there.
Mark might get here like a little before 5, so don't freak out if you hear the dog.
I can see the
Can you see the
outside from
outside?
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Security.
We can monitor if anybody brings the AR-15 in here.
Shoot back.
I'm not too worried.
I'm not either.
No.
Okay.
That's shameful, man, to find out that those guys that stayed outside.
Oh, the cops?
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh,
believe that.
It's like
What are you talking about?
they found the
The
surveillance
cops
video.
never went
The
inside.
the cops that were there
Which place?
at the school
At
Oh.
Parkland,
they were
they
there
arrived, but they didn't go in
and they stood
throughout the
outside.
whole
So they
shooting.
could have stopped it.
Yes,
You know, they,
Or
they
some
dropped-
of it. They couldn't stop the beginning, but they
Right.
could have. They could have
they could have
curtailed.
minimized anything.
Yeah, they could have
dropped the ball.
minimized.
There's so many
It's
things.
disturbing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a mess.
10 seconds. I'm going live now on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yeah. Stand by. You're live.
Alright, hang on, and so we're gonna go live on. We are successfully connected to the streaming server,
Facebook.
and we are going to start recording now. Alright, and we are going to come in with an intro. Stand by.
And you can listen to that familiar music. If you're watching me on Facebook, I'm dancing. It's time again for the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Nada. I'm your solo host today, but not to worry because George Ortiz, the Alacran, Don Jorge, he's taking the day off. He's the hardest working man in the universe. I think he worked about 14 hours straight or something. So he's sleeping, I hope. Maybe he's watching us, but we hope he gets some rest and he'll be back again next week. But that's okay because we still have a great show for you. Welcome, Chipsters. We're here every Saturday at 4 p.m. If this is the first time that you've listened to our show, what we do, George and I, George Ortiz, and I'm Alice Dada, what we do is we want to give a voice to conservative voices, Latinos who actually are Republicans, believe it or not, or do exist. But it's not always about politics that we talk because we're very involved with community as well. And today's show is a perfect example of that. We're going to bring on later in the show, we have two great guests. We're going to welcome back Tanya Gruzinski, who is with Life Choices Women's Clinic, and that's a great, great organization. She's been talking about their main fundraiser event, Laugh for Hope. If you're watching us on Facebook, that's Chips, Letter, and Salsa Show. You'll see Tanya. She's here with us in the studio. And then we also have another wonderful guest, and that's Mark Weidman, and he is a realtor, and my good friend Augie Barton turned me on to him, and he's going to talk about some programs for Latino home buyers. And what we're also going to do, we have lots to talk about. I was at an event today called EPOD. It's the Emancipation Proclamation event. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to bring our good buddy, actually the creator of Center Right Radio, and that's Brandon Jones. And he's going to come and talk to us about that. And he was there. He gave a speech. I gave a little speech, and we'll tell you all about that. I've got some announcements I want to get out of the way, though, because I don't want to forget. My own club, Central Republican Women of Phoenix, I hope you'll think about joining us this Thursday. And we're going to we have a different venue right now. We're meeting at Enchiladas, which is over, I think it's the Dreamy Draw Enchiladas. It's just a little bit north of, that's north of Glendale. If you're traveling on 16th Street, if you're going that time of the day, I'm going to warn you because it starts at 5:30 as a social hour. So if you're headed north on 16th Street, don't go right on Glendale because you're going to run into a lot of traffic. You will never make a left. Just keep going straight on 16th Street and go the back way through Morton, where we have a terrific speaker. His name is Gene Cobelson. And Gene Cobelson wrote a book about Reagan, a very dynamic speaker. You won't want to miss it. Plus, there's a bunch of wonderful Republican conservative women that you'll get to meet and talk to. Tell your friends about it. Maybe they'd like to join us. You never know. The other thing I want to tell you about, too, is I am in Legislative District 27, which is down to the South Mountain area. Maybe you're listening. Maybe you're not in Arizona, but this is from Phoenix. We're broadcasting actually from Tempe. And on, let me get this date right. If I have the thing here, we have a special speaker planned. Actually, this will be at the Mountain Gate Community Building at the Eternal Life Community Church, and they are presenting Josie Rogers. And she is with Launch International, which LAUNCH stands for Living to Advance Unreached Nations, Choosing His Heart. This gal is going to talk about her travels in Iraq. Should be a fantastic lecture. And that's going to be Tuesday, March 6th. And I think I gave you the date for my women's club. Okay, so March 6th is at 7 p.m. Our women's club, Central Republican Women of Phoenix, that's going to be this Thursday, March 1st. And again, that's 5:30 is a social hour, 6:15 our meeting starts. And you can send your reservations to reservations@crwop.org. That's reservations@crwop.org. And Jan Webb, who's in charge of our membership and events, she will take care of that, take that for you. I'm going to invite Brandon to start walking over here a little bit because I want to talk to him about stuff. But I want to play a little special treat for you. Ruben Obed, he's done it again, El Mejor. He's got some new music. Check it out. It's about the swamp salsa.
It doesn't have to be that close to that. Yeah, because that maxes out.
You need to know that the media lies. Ruben is a good friend of the show. He wrote, This Latina's Going to Vote for Trump. Maybe Tanya heard it. I don't remember if some of you heard it, but I actually still have it as a ringtone on my phone. This Latina's going to vote for Trump, because I like to play with people's minds. But another person who likes to play with people's mind is my very good friend, Brandon Jones. Welcome, Brandon Jones.
Mind control.
Mind control. Brandon is the chairman for Legislative District 27. And today we got to do something kind of fun, kind of special. Our good friend Reverend Bowen, Clyde Bowen, and his wife Johnny, they put together every year, this is number 6, the EPOD 6 they call it, and that's Emancipation Proclamation event celebrating freedom. And it was a lot of fun. And you gave a speech there, Brandon. Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about, was this the first time you've participated in that?
No, so last EPOD 5.
Last EPOD, yeah. It's like a
This is the this is the 6th annual EPOD, and I volunteered for the front table, like the welcoming committee, so to speak.
And you did.
You know, I could have
Magnificent
a
job.
grandiose smile and be able to shake a good hand. That's what I'm good at. So, no, it was really good. And then this time, of course, Clyde asked me to speak, and so I got nervous, put together something real quickly, but it was from the heart, so that's how we do it.
It was well done, and I think next year is going to be a little bigger event. There were a lot of speakers. We had Representative Jay Lawrence, who is with the Arizona Legislature. We had some candidates come and talk to us as well.
Barry Wong
And
Barry Wong from the
representing
governor's office.
Mhm, absolutely, and I got to talk a little bit about my heritage. It was a
Yes,
lot
you
of fun.
did.
How'd I do?
I think you did
Did you
great.
accept it?
I
Okay.
think people love you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you very much. I did that. Oh. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in LD 27 coming up next weekend, Brandon.
Yeah, LD27 is participating next weekend in the Super Saturday event. So basically, it's going to be a time where all of the precinct committeemen go out and, campaign, start for the primaries, and then sometimes they'll go, if they're running for PC again, they'll get their signatures to get on the ballot to become a PC. It's a good time to recruit more PCs and get more grassroots activists, and so, we're going to be going out there and hitting it hard. So
Yeah, there's lots of recruiting to do. For those of you who may not know what a PC is, that stands for Precinct Committeeman. And actually, I've read a little bit of history on that. And Lincoln, the time of Lincoln, they were kind of in charge of putting this thing together because the idea is to have very local grassroots participation. Is that a good way to describe it, Brandon?
I would say that it's a very good way. The cool thing about grassroots participation is that if you're one of those people that doesn't like money in politics and you want to have a little bit of a say and you don't have a lot of money, the best way to do that is to be grassroots, because with your time, wise man once said, equally exchanged for time is money. So if you don't have the money, then you should have the time. If you don't have the time, hopefully you have the money. So if you go out there, get a group of people to go campaign door to door, if there's a certain candidate you want to, get elected for conservative office or whatever, you go out and get some materials from their campaign, whether it's a McSally or a Ward or, some of those people, or, even the CD9 election that's coming up. You get all that material and get it all at once. And so just knock those doors, hand them everything, get your signatures.
And having done that for a lot of years, more than probably I want to mention, but you get to meet your neighbors. And it's interesting, in today's world, we don't do that often enough. It's surprising how many people have lived on the same street for 10 years and, oh yeah, it's a guy in the brown car or whatever. They don't even know what their name is. So I love that because then you can knock on the door and you can say that you're not a stranger. So I live next door to you, I live down the street, and they're a little bit more receptive to talking to you.
Very much so. Yeah, last what was it, New Year's Eve? I got some of the little firecracker things from the little stands now, and I was outside and ended up with my neighbors, and we were just having a good time and throwing out some firecrackers and just talking about how we should do more stuff. I think just eating a meal together with people, how hard is that? Invite your neighbors over for dinner or something. It's too many people. I think that's part of what's contributing to a lot of the tragedies that we're seeing right now, is people don't have those close, intimate relationships with people, that if you do have an issue, you need to talk to somebody, and actually that's what's cool about a neighbor, is they're close to home, but it's somebody that a lot of times you can confide in, even if you don't know your neighbors. If you had an issue, I guarantee you could probably go next door and tell them, I'm your neighbor, I have a problem. They're going to be like, what can we do? As most people are good people.
You're so right. And last week's show, we were talking to Cynthia Gosa Lazaro with the Gosa Memorial Foundation, Damien Gosa Memorial Foundation. We're talking just about that because it wasn't that long ago. You did know all your neighbors and you were friends with them, and you played outside, and you couldn't, in little towns especially, you couldn't get in trouble because the parents of your friends knew you, everybody knew who you were. So that's not a bad thing to revive and bring back. And we need
small town in the big city. That's what we need.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good slogan. I think you should put that on a bumper sticker.
somewhere,
Small town.
Coin
big
it.
City. Yeah.
small town
Get it?
in the big city.
Steve, are you taking notes? Yeah.
It's on tape.
Nice. We got it on tape. Right. Okay, so, and then we've got our meeting coming up also, but that's the second Tuesday in March. Do
That
we have a
is-
guest speaker scheduled yet?
I think we have a bunch since it's campaign season 2018. We have a lot of people that want to come speak. So, you know, I've put them with our second vice chair, Ron Harders, and our secretary, Maria Birnbaum, and getting those schedules put together so we can pack it all in, getting people a lot of time so they can get there. You know, that's what we do when we have our meetings, get to meet the candidates. There's no better place than an LD meeting if you want to meet who's running for things, because you get to ask whatever questions, you can be as hard on them as you want, and they appreciate it. So I
It's a great
recommend
forum.
coming on down to a meeting.
And by the way, shout out to Maria Birnbaum and her kids. She has a set of
Beautiful.
twin girls, and they did a wonderful job. They sang the national anthem
They
today at
did.
the event, where they were so sweet, and they did a really
They
fine
did a
job.
great job, and it was like pretty much last minute, I think, and they
Mhm.
were up there practicing beforehand. It was really cute. They did a
And
good job.
they did a much better job than someone else did to get to listen to that one gal.
Oh, was that Fergie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fergie.
bless her heart.
Bless her heart. Yeah, bless her heart. She did. But they did a much nicer job than that. And did you get that on video?
Yes, I did.
You did?
They were awesome.
So where do they, if somebody wants to watch that, can they just go to our site? Where did you post that?
I haven't posted it because I didn't.
Oh,
The
that's
internet wouldn't work inside there.
Okay.
So we'll post it later on Chips and Salsa
So
somewhere.
Steve Palmer was there, and he had his video camera going. So he's going to be posting all that later. So you can go to the Chips Letter and Salsa Show Facebook site, and you can check that out.
Also, Tristan Manos has a recording. He said he might
that's
get
right.
us a copy of something.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
did
did
the
say
whole
that.
thing on his Q2N.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Different angle.
Yeah, so we can mix it up. We could have two camera angles. It might look pretty
Who knows?
legit.
Who knows what you all caught
Yeah.
that we didn't? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Might have to watch that first. Just edit mine. I don't have mine up there. But it was a lot of fun. And next year's event, if you'd like to, it's the I don't want to get this wrong. American African Republican
Nope,
Committee.
you
Did I have
forgot
that
one
wrong?
A.
Yeah, I forgot one.
It's
Is.
the
Arizona.
Arizona.
How can I forget Arizona?
American African Republican Committee.
Very nice.
Cool.
ARC.
Yep.
AAARC.
Yeah, CT Wright. Oh my gosh, that guy. He gets
Yeah.
us fired up. He is so good. So good.
He's terrific. You just want to just go right there. And
He's one of
start
those
recruiting.
guys that can bring people together who are from many different backgrounds. I feel like when he speaks, it really gets the room connected to him. You know, no matter where you come from, you just have to listen. So
He does, absolutely. It's great. So it was a great time. Brandon, let's see, it's 4:15. I think we need to go to
We
break
need a
here
break.
soon. So we're going to go to break. Thank you
All
very
right.
much for sharing. And
absolutely.
we'll be back with Tanya and Mark. So don't go away. More here on the Chips and Salsa Show with Alice Nada. Welcome. Okay. All right, good.
We won't be breaking on Facebook, so you get to see the behind the scenes here, folks.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go to you next. We're going to do it.
No rest.
No rest for the week.
Yeah, it's just,
Is that what you were thinking?
Connection. I don't know what's
Do
going
you
on
have
with
anything to bring
I
us
wouldn't
up to
even go
date
on the
on?
5G.
Do you have a new building?
Like-
that. Well, no, when I went to the other one, they wouldn't even
We
try
are
to.
not built
Really?
Yeah, I had to go to 5
We have two brand new
But
ultrasound machines.
Even in their price, it dropped out
Need
the
more
last
money.
week.
We always want to talk about that.
Went fine at 5Gs. Went through the whole time. Didn't.
Nice, good.
Well,
And so I'll just ask you the typical questions.
Maybe there's just.
And
There
just
shouldn't
have
be.
a bandwidth
what's
stop.
new sponsors look like?
The Americare Hospice. It's the Catholic hospice.
Yeah, we're still trying to find
They're very pro-life. Let's see. What else?
Nice. Relevant Radio, I'm gonna put that at them because they canceled some of my shows. But that's okay. Rest is sponsored. JohnEven.com.
Yep, he has been a sponsor.
yeah, we're gonna break for 3 minutes,
all
pretty
5
much
years.
most of the
Casey,
time.
everybody else has
Casey.
been a long-time sponsor. Yep.
We can talk about that. And I'm excited about the new venue. I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
That's really nice. There's really not a bad seat in the house because the stage is rounded, and so wherever you sit, you're close. And it seats 1,000 people, so we got stage
Oh,
pricing
yeah.
last year. And we're almost halfway booked, so there's.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Keep rocking. Guys, when do you want to play the Prather Point?
Whenever you want.
Maybe I'll talk to Tanya first, and then after hers, we'll play the Prather Point.
That'd be good. Between the two guys,
Between
that'd
the
be
two
better.
guests. I think so too.
Better flow.
Right on.
This is good.
Um,
You're the host. You're the master.
I'm secretly a Russian agent.
we
I have
do have the
colluded.
Russians involved.
I have colluded with Russia.
I am colluding with Don Jorge. He is not present.
For 15 seconds, back to live, guys.
And we are back with more of the Chips and Salsa show here on Center Right Radio. If you're listening, you might be listening on centerright.live, or perhaps you are watching us on Facebook. And that is Chips, letter N, Salsa show. And you know what? I'd like to ask, if you are doing that, could you share it? Because we'd like more people to watch us and get the message. And if you haven't, would you like our page too? That would be even better. We are still trying to increase our likes on that. So I appreciate that. So, as I mentioned, I'm Alice Lotta here. I'm doing this solo today, although not really, because Brandon Jones is behind the controls there, keeping us on track, as is Steve Palmer, who's doing our video and keeping me in line here. But our good friend George Ortiz, he's taken the afternoon off because he just works so hard and he's got to make sure that he gets some sleep. So not to worry, because we're going to continue and on with the show. So next up we have a wonderful guest that we welcome back. We welcome back Tanya Grzinski.
Thank you for having me back.
Thanks for coming back. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. And Tanya, you are the executive director, if I have that right?
Yes.
Of Life Choices Women's Clinic. And go ahead, for those who haven't listened to us, we'd love to have you on. It's a very great organization that helps mamas that are going to have babies. So tell us a little bit about what is done there and how long you've been doing this.
Well, I've been doing this for about 7 years. I've been with Life Choices now for almost 3 years. We have, we're a pregnancy resource center, but we also do focus on women's health issues as well. We have 2 medical offices, one in West Phoenix, one in North Phoenix, and then we also have a mobile clinic, and we do free women's health services on there as well. We see about 7,000 patients a year. A lot of those are pregnant mothers or mothers who find themselves unexpectedly pregnant and just don't know where to turn. So we have a lot of free services for them: pregnancy verification, counseling, ultrasounds. We also have an assistance program where we help with clothing and diapers and things like that, formula support for after the baby is born. We also have emergency shelter as well. So if somebody feels like, well, they can't go home and tell their parents, or they're afraid they're going to be kicked out of the house, then we do help with shelter temporarily until they can get into a longer, maternity home with more support. So it's a really great organization that I'm just so blessed to be a part of. Every day we just see, people who need help in our community, and we have a lot of people coming through our doors who need help and they don't know where to turn. And being faced with that, facing an unplanned pregnancy is a lot like being in a car accident. You're in shock, you don't expect it, your life changes, and so people don't know where to turn. So I'm just, the staff and volunteers at Life Choices Women's Clinic are amazing. They really just walk with these women through their pregnancies, and they don't just say you're going to be alone. They really are not alone, because we are here for them.
Tanya, I can attest to that, and I want to give a shout out also to Mary Greitinger. She's my friend, and she's the reason I even know about you guys. And she, told me about this organization. And when in the past, you have your big fundraiser, Laugh for Hope, and I've checked out that mobile unit that you have. And I took a friend of mine who was a little bit kind of like, what are these guys doing, and she was in there, she was asking the gal some tough questions, and just pleasantly surprised, because everything that you have just said, you absolutely do. So someone doesn't have to worry about, oh, you just do this, you just cater to this. It's the whole enchilada, if you will. You know, someone comes in there and they really need help. You help them. And we're just really pleased. Chips and Salsa Show now has been having you guys on for the last few years, and we're so honored and pleased that you share that with us. So, of course, let's get right to the point because we don't want to forget because you guys, it takes money to do these kinds of things and to do a good job. And you are having your wonderful annual fundraiser, Laugh for Hope, and I have the beautiful little card here. It's April 13th at 7 p.m. You have a new venue, Dream City Church Building.
Dream City Church, it's in their youth pavilion, but it's huge. It seats about 1,000 people. We are, halfway booked, but there's still some great seats out there. There's a lot of great seats near the stage. Tickets are $25, and all of that just goes to support our clinics. And, the number one way we're funded is through individual donors. And we've got some great sponsors that are helping promote this event, that are, underwriting this event. We have 3 national comedians who are flying in. Carlos Oscar, we had him year 1 at Grand Canyon University. He was there with our very first Laugh for Hope ever, and he was voted back favorite comedian, so we're having him back, and he has all new material. He's working on a sitcom right now. He's been on the Today Show, he's been on The View, he's traveled all over. He is so funny. He talks about his, growing up in a Latino family. Anyway, he's high energy. You don't want to miss him. He's so funny.
Tanya, I don't know. I know they come in, they fly him in, they probably fly him out, but he'd be great if we could maybe get him or any of the other comedians if they'd like to come on the Chips and Salsa Show.
Oh,
I want to extend that invitation to them. Every time that I have gone, you think, well, I haven't heard of this particular comedian, and they're clean comedians. They don't have the F word shooting out there. We can take kids that are great, and we've always had a good time. We have such a good time now that we kind of have a tradition of friends. We get this whole road that's taken care of, and we just go there. And last time we went, they actually matched our donations, which was really, really cool. You guys had a special sponsor to do that. But tell us about the other ones. You have Kristen
Weber. Yep. She was here last year with the Aspire conference. Very funny. Again, clean. She was homeschooled, so she talks a lot about that. She brings that humor into it. Single life, which I, can relate to, just, as being single and looking for that one always. And then there's Claiborne Cox, who Southern, very dry, very sarcastic humor, works a lot with the audience. He is hilarious. We've been wanting to have him for a few years, but our schedule never really matched up with his, but this year it just worked out perfectly. So he's our feature comedian. He's so funny.
It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it. So that's April 13th. So there's still plenty of time. So if they want to get tickets, you can purchase tickets at laughforhopephoenix.com. Laughforhopephoenix.com. Or you can call also. Write this number 602-305-5100. And what we were talking about earlier, Tanya, is we're going to maybe record a commercial for you all so we can play it on the station.
That sounds great.
And get some. Now, if you can't make it to the show, that's okay because they can write you a check, right?
Absolutely. You can go to lifechoicesarizona.com or pro-lifearizona.com, either website, and you can donate. You can donate at laughforhopephoenix.com as well. But it's just 2 straight hours of laughter. You don't interrupt the comedians. It's just you're laughing for 2 hours. Like you leave, your cheeks are hurting.
It's great, and then also afterwards, the comedians usually they hang around, so you can go talk to them. Sometimes they have their CDs if you want to buy their CDs or stuff. It's really a lot of fun. So right now, what is your organization in need of the most? Are you trying to get any particular kind of equipment that you need, or?
We actually just finished raising money for 2 brand new ultrasound machines at our clinic to replace some old broken ones that we had. But we're always looking for just support with ongoing operational expenses. We're expanding our services and our staff. So we're always looking for funding for that, as well as help with our mobile clinic, which is right now, the bus is 2009, so we'll be needing to replace that eventually.
Sure.
So we're raising money for a new mobile clinic. So that's in the works as well.
Now, anyone that'd like to take advantage of your services, do you have any limitations or restrictions on that?
If anybody who is pregnant and looking for help, they can call us. We do provide limited ultrasound scans. We do also breast exams. We do cancer screenings, basic gynecological services. They can go to our website, lcwcaz.org, and it'll list our services on the website.
Great. It's a fantastic organization. Please consider going to Laugh for Hope. And Tanya, you can stick around a little bit more if you'd like to when we talk to Mark. It's all good. But please stick around for more Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Lada. Don't go away because we have plenty more to walk on with. Thanks, Tanya.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Alice, we lost Facebook a couple times, so we're still live on Facebook during the commercial break. Can you read
Sure.
the information so she can just re-promo that on Facebook because that's when we lost it.
Oh, okay. All right. Guys, sorry about that. You might have heard that we kind of lost the stream on Facebook, but that's okay because it's giving us another opportunity, Tanya, to talk about Laugh for Hope. This is a great, great organization. You want it. It's Life Choices Women's Clinic. And Tanya is the executive producer. Oh, good, you got it. She's the producer, executive director of the organization. They help pregnant women. You offer, I always forget that you offer so much more than that in services. They have a mobile clinic, so you can take care of that, and all kinds of things that you can see. That the women, the people they have, they're great. My good friend Mary Granger, she also helps there. She does the admin part of it. But come by, even, and if you can't come to the show, you can donate. Go ahead and tell Facebook how they can do that.
You can donate by going to laughforhopephoenix.com, or you can go to lifechoicesarizona.com and just see more about our programs and services, and you can make a donation right online.
Great. And this is you have 2 clinics, and the next time what we're going to try to do, I was telling Tanya, is we'll have someone come that has benefited from the program maybe, and they can come and talk to us about their experience. I know when we go to the show, you usually feature someone, and the stories, and it's so cool that if you've been a part of that and help these women, because a lot of times they just need a little help. That's all they need. And I know that you'd like to be a part of it. The comedians are going to be great. They're having Carlos Oscar, Kirsten Weber, Claiborne Cox. Again, you can go to Laugh, L-E-U-G-H, 4, Hope, PhoenixPHX.com, or call 602-305-5100 and get your tickets. Join us there. We'd love to see you. You can go meet Tanya. She'd love to talk to you. Be part of the Life Choices Women's Clinics family. Okay. Thanks, man. Great job.
Thank you.
Come with us if you want.
Sorry about that, Facebook.
Thank you.
Need to go.
Technical gremlins.
So we'll come back. Can we come back with the break point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll announce it a little bit.
Oops, I got my hand here. Do you mind? You need to.
You take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
15 seconds.
Nice meeting you.
Sorry, I'm not just trying to church.
And if you're watching on Facebook, you see that our good friend Tanya, she's leading. So she did a great job. Please support these guys. This is a great organization, Life Choices Women's Clinics, building a culture of life. And they really are. They really do a fantastic job. Again, the event is Laugh for Hope. It's April 13th at 7 p.m. at Dream City Church. And that's 13613. Oh, that's interesting. April 13th, 13613 North Cave Creek Road in Phoenix, Arizona. Before we go to our next guest, which is Mark Wyden, we want to make sure that we don't forget and we play the Prather Point. And we welcome our good friend, Jeff Prather. And he is the man behind the scenes. You know what? We call him our secret agent man. He's kind of still connected there to the swamp, whatever you want to call it. And so we're going to play now Jeff Prather with the Prather Point.
We doing Prather? Oh, good. We lost Facebook again. Something with signals.
That's why I don't like Facebook. It's not always
It's not
us.
reliable.
It's
Yeah,
their
it could be their
servers.
platform. Yeah, it's just like getting overloaded. I'm switching.
You guys can hear this, right? Sweet.
Yeah, last week it worked fine. How much longer? 2 minutes? Damn. Doesn't want to sync up.
Yeah, the issue that you're having here too is because if you connect to 5G, you need to forget the regular one because they're going to fight for each other. So
Well,
you're gonna
yeah, I
to
have it.
forget that
Okay,
connection
let's get
and
rid
then
of it.
only connect to the 5G one. Because otherwise they're going to fight for each other.
Yeah, that's I'm going to this one now.
Yep.
Hopefully that'll work.
And by next week, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah,
So
like
you
you
don't have
said,
to
it
do
could
this
be-
anymore.
Because last week it worked
Don't worry
fine.
about it. We'll have it handled next week. I can't watch you go through this any longer. Pains me.
Should happen.
Pains my heart.
Okay. That's working. Let's go back to Facebook. Yeah, we had no issues last week, which was thank goodness since it was just me. Okay, see how the mic's out. We got 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds, guys.
We're back on Facebook. For now.
Lives a life of danger. That's Jeff Prather with the Prather Point, and man, he's always good. He always has something good going on. This is Alice Latta, and I'd like to welcome our next guest, Mark Weidman. And we both listened to the Prather Point just before we get into what we're actually going to talk about. Mark, we were just like, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Incredible. It seems like every day they keep coming out with more and more stuff. So the FBI guy retired. Not only did he quit, but he retired.
That's crazy. The day after, that's insane.
What is your background, Mark?
Actually, my background is in education. I actually worked in healthcare. I've been a realtor now for about 1.5 years with Mohican Associates, and I've actually been working as a investor in real estate for about 6 years.
Wow.
So kind of a wide variety of things.
That is very nice.
Yeah, and I'm
diverse.
bilingual.
And you're bilingual
I
too?
am bilingual. I taught high school.
Ándale.
Ándale, podemos hablar en español.
So, yeah, probably can speak better Spanish than me. Mark, because you have an education background, were you a teacher?
I was a high school teacher out in Peoria, Peoria High School for 13 years, and I taught 2 years in Roswell, New Mexico, back in the 80s. And then did a few other things in between there, working healthcare here in the under the Access program for a while, one of the companies that provided those services. And yeah, and then.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and take advantage of your background. I'm actually from Las Cruces.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with Roswell.
Yes.
Being that you were a high school teacher, when you hear about these horrible tragedies, you
Before
must
do
have some
that,
thoughts of
should
your own.
refresh
Do you have
that
any
page because it might
suggestions?
be-
Or,
I have very mixed emotions about that whole
might
thing
not be
because I
easy
know,
here.
you know,
So,
we have to protect our children. And I know at my particular high school in Peoria, they put a police officer within the last 5 to 10 years at the school, at every school in the district. And I think that's a good starting point. But then, you know, having teachers carry it's a difficult situation because, you know, if you're not paying the teachers more money and now they're putting, you know, they're carrying. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence about some of that, but you know, anything we can do to protect those kids and protect our society, you know, I think that we need to keep talking like we are, because it's not a simple solution. I think one of the things Prather talked about was the mental side. You know, the government, everyone's involved in it. You know, and he talked about how the FBI dropped the ball, et cetera. I think when people have mental issues, we need to put more funding or something in there. If people are having mental issues, I personally, that's just my opinion, I don't think they should be able to buy a gun. But that's just me.
Well,
And it's a tough one. It's a tough
it is
situation.
in all these cases, especially this one.
Yeah,
There's so many balls that were dropped.
absolutely.
So even if you have the perfect scenario, we have to do our job. on all
Absolutely.
sides.
Absolutely.
So wow, so you
Yeah.
probably don't miss the high school life anymore.
No, it's different than it used to be, that's for sure. It was a great experience though.
Oh, Peoria High School, about
Peoria High
18,
School.
20 years ago. You know what? There was a home ec teacher. I can think of her first name was Kathy. I don't know if you remember.
I was there in 1998 the first time.
Yeah. Okay,
Kathy.
that was probably before anyway.
Before?
It was. I like Peoria High School. It's a
Oh,
nice high school.
absolutely.
Great
Absolutely.
kids there.
Yes.
Okay, so you're here to talk about,
Yes.
and thank you very much for coming in today,
Hmm.
Mark Widener, realtor. You're here to talk about some home buyer programs for Latinos. So tell us about that.
Yes, I have teamed up with a company called OnQ Financial with a guy named Wyatt Lupton. He's a loan officer there, and also a lady named Latanya Gore. She's with Empire West Title, and her office manager, and then her husband Carlos Velasco, who has his own company called, and it's slipping my mind at the second, Novelco. Novelco is the name, I believe. And
Not
he's
Norelco, Novelco.
no Novelco.
Novelco.
Yes. And anyway, we have teamed up, and we actually have a scheduled home buyer seminar scheduled for March 15th at the Maryvale Family YMCA, 3825 North 67th Avenue, from 3:30 to 7 p.m. And we're going to have, of course, I'll be talking about kind of the process for people as a realtor, the process for buying a home. Although the most important thing, if you're looking to buy a home, is that you need to get qualified. You need to be pre-qualified. If you're not pre-qualified, that's why you need to talk with the lender first. So OnQ Financial with Wyatt Lupton, he's also bilingual, and he's not Hispanic, just like me, funny enough. And he'll be speaking, and then also the title company will be talking about their process. And there's so many different programs available that I could never go into all of them, and I don't even know all of them because they're changing all the time. I literally helped a family in South Phoenix. South Phoenix has a program they're working right now in the Broadway to Rozier, 24th Street to 32nd Street. They're building 125 brand new homes, energy efficient homes, and I actually helped the family get into a home there. The home normally would have cost about $180,000. They were able to get in the home for $135,000 because of some home buyers assistance. One of the programs is called NSP, and I don't have the phone number, but the lady's name is, and that's slipping my mind. My mind's not working right now. But anyway, the city of Phoenix has some programs available, and then there's other programs. There's a HomeWise and various programs that can be part of that. So
Why don't you go ahead and give your phone number out that way?
my phone number is 602-616-3911. So if you have any questions, if I don't have the answer, I'll definitely find it out for you. So, but that's one of the things that we're doing right now, and we're focusing particularly on the Hispanic community, and that kind of talking about my background when I started doing real estate as an investor before I was even a realtor. I was working with people in foreclosure, and I would actually go knock on their doors and say, hey, what are you doing to help yourself, so you're not going to lose your home. And what ended up happening was I found many people, and many Hispanics that had been, they were losing their home, and not just Hispanics, all cultural backgrounds. But I found that people had gotten into foreclosure, Hispanic families in particular, because they had maybe paid cash for their home, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and so they thought they were free and clear, and then whoever sold them the home would come back and say, hey, sign this other paper. They're thinking it's going to be you know, to put them on the deed or something, and then it's actually for another loan. And so they actually lost their home, and there's a couple people that were actually indicted and etc. But what ends up happening is the attorneys get their money, it goes to the Attorney General here of Arizona, but the people are still without their home. And the issue is, and it's a touchy subject, is of course a lot of these people and some of these people are undocumented. So it's if somebody's paid $50,000 or $60,000, you know, I guess if it was me, I'd kind of feel like, yeah, I have a right to keep my home, you know, if I'm making my payments. And they paid cash, it's paid off. So it's a touchy subject.
Well, let me ask you right
Yes.
there. So if it's an undocumented person,
Mhm.
that somebody illegally residing in this country, how are they able to purchase a home?
Actually, if they're paying cash, you know, a lot of these people took out what they call hard money loans. So there's private lenders that will, their interest rates are going to be pretty high, you know, probably 12, 15, 18%. And if they're late on a payment in many of those cases, they'll have to pay a 25% penalty. So it's incredibly difficult for people to pull themselves out of that. And not all the people are undocumented. You know, many of the people were just, you know, we're documented, we're regular citizens here, etc. So it's not just undocumented. It's all different. You know.
I just was curious because I thought, gee, how could you do that?
Oh,
So
it's
if you
very
pay cash,
simple.
I understand. Okay, we're going to wrap up because we've got 30 seconds left, but I want to talk more about
Absolutely.
this if you can stay. Because we have
Absolutely.
some questions we can learn more about the real estate business. And this is right in my hood, you know,
Mhm.
in that area, South Mountain. All right, so we're talking to Mark Weidman, realtor. We're talking about real estate and some homebuyer programs and stuff about real estate. And I'm Alice Stoddard here, so keep listening to more of the Chips and Salsa Show. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's
That's
it
a difficult
reminds
one.
me of when I was serving on the hospital board. You know, it doesn't matter if you go in for an emergency. We have to take care of you.
Absolutely.
First, and
Absolutely.
we should. And what some people didn't know though is a lot of people, because they were illegal.
Mhm.
They would just pay with cash.
Absolutely.
And do that. So we get, and there's nothing wrong with cash.
No,
But man, it opens up so many horrible things that can happen.
absolutely. Well, there's no protection for those people. The attorneys got their money and everything, and the people went in jail and got, you know. But
Well, there should be nothing wrong, in my opinion, in Mexico. I can buy and own a home as long as it's not in the restricted zone, which
Exactly.
is coastal.
Absolutely.
You know, it should be no different, honestly.
Yeah.
And if somebody in Mexico, a lender will lend me money, it
Absolutely.
should be perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
for
Just
that
like anywhere.
deal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
here's the deal though. You're if you're illegal, you're buying home and you're living there.
no,
You
that's
live there.
the only issue is that issue. But that shouldn't be confused with the fact that they should be able to own a home. here.
Absolutely. If they pay
they want
cash,
to.
they have every
Yeah.
right to.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
No, just scoot forward. You didn't need the headset.
Okay.
You were coming out of frame.
Okay.
But yeah,
Oh.
I you know, the other, you know, it's funny. There's a lot of people don't even know this, and one of my business partners is, you know, he's a detective in New York, and we talk a lot about certain things, and one of them is that one day we're looking on as, you know, all these people are saying criminal, illegal, aliens. Well, they're not. Technically, it's a civil.
99%
It's a
of them are
civil
not.
issue.
Yeah.
It's like it's like jaywalking.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not a criminal act.
No.
It's a civil act, and
Right.
so these people need to get the understanding. You can be outraged if you want it to be criminal. Maybe you need to go to criminalizing
Right.
being here illegally.
Right.
But just because you're here illegally doesn't mean you're a criminal.
No.
It means
That's
you created a petty
exactly.
civil offense.
Absolutely.
That you can be
Yeah,
removed,
yeah.
and of course, you know, those
Yeah.
things. But you know, it shouldn't be.
But I thought they changed that to a felony. Didn't they introduce that in the Congress and they passed
To
that?
me, it's just interesting because these are
It's
the
a
problems
civil
that happen.
offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they get away with it because they say, they're not going to go after us.
Yeah, we're 10 seconds out, guys.
And And we are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Lara, and notice we'll be missing this afternoon is Don Jorge, because you know what? He's sleeping, snoring somewhere, I hope, because that guy, I think he had to work 14 or 15 hours. He still wanted to come in, guys, believe it or not. He's like I said. And he said, no, I better sleep. I said, yeah, I think you should sleep also. That's a good idea. We are talking, it's already the last segment of the show because, you know, when you have a good show, it just goes really fast, chock full of information. We have not been addressing a lot of politics today, but before we continue, Mark, with what we're talking about, I don't want to forget to give a shout out to our good friend, Brandon Jones and Steve Palmer. I'm sure that you heard that Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, was in town. And while she was here, she was with for our Congressman Raul Grijalva. She was doing an event. And what was happening is somebody from the Republican side of the aisle snuck in. And guess who it was? It was our good friend Terry Mendoza. So Terry Mendoza, while Nancy Pelosi was talking about the rich and people should be so poor and there's people that are so rich, well, she shouted out, our good friend Terry Mendoza, how much are you worth, Nancy? And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Terry. We tried to get Terry on the show, but she's actually back. She was at CPAC, so she couldn't be on with us. But, you know, this is America, and this is free, so it's entertaining. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Terry Mendoza. Also, guys, I don't think we're going to get a chance to get to all of our cocotazos. And Mark, I don't know if you know what a cocotazo is, but
I've heard the word,
you heard the word?
I don't know what it is.
When you're a kid and do something wrong in the Puerto Rican culture, you just have to tap on your noggin because you did something dumb or stupid.
Cocotazo.
We keep track of them through the week on our Chips and Salsa Facebook site,
Okay.
and we always have plenty. Well, that was a good one for Nancy. But we also want to introduce, and maybe we'll start doing this next week, something called, we might call it the whole enchilada, because we have so much negative. We want to do positive. Like,
Absolutely.
for example, there was a kid, he was in the junior ROTC in the Florida case, and he saved some kids, and that, in fact, would be something worth a commendation. So we'll
Absolutely.
be introducing that as well. But for now, we're going to finish up, and we want to talk some more about this real estate stuff. We started talking about, I was asking a question about someone illegally residing here, owning property, and that's not the problem, or I would have the problem, we were talking about that during the break, is if they bought the property and they actually are residing, it gets pretty complicated.
It
I would
gets
say.
very complicated, extremely complicated. It's and most of the people are, you know, are documented. And they may have some people in the home that are and some that aren't, you know. But the issue is really is that these people are being defrauded by other people that speak Spanish most of the time. So they have this trust in them when they tell them certain things, and you know they end up losing their home. So they need to learn that if you're going to buy a home, you need to make sure you go through a title company. Don't ever just sign a piece of paper with someone and just think you're done, because that's what the purpose of title companies is to protect people. You know, it protects the buyer, the seller, everyone involved, because you know they control where all the funds go with the escrow account. So it's real important. Now, if you pay cash, you still should go through a title company. And a lot of people, I think, well, it's like buying a car. I just pay somebody cash, they give me the title. But when you buy a home, you know, there's a deed involved, and that's public record, and it has to be recorded. And so it's just a way to protect yourself. If you're not going through a title company, you could be shooting yourself in the foot.
This sounds like a good seminar that anybody could benefit from.
Absolutely.
Is it free?
It is free. We're going to be, like I said, have different people talking there, and there'll be some food there available, and we're going to start doing these throughout the valley. Our first one will be in Maryville. We just started this, and we're hoping to do it out on this side of town and maybe in Glendale area. We're going to try to do a monthly thing. And it's open to Hispanics and anyone. It's open to anyone, but we're kind of targeting the Hispanic community because they, for the most part, tend to be the group that gets to be cheated, if that's the right word, or defrauded when they're hardworking people and you know, just like the rest of us, trying to you know, keep food on the table for their families and have shelter for their kids, and you know, all of the above.
Absolutely.
And what's
Well,
the
that's
date?
good to know. And in today's world, the market, well, out like where I live 16th Street in Dobbins area, and Vistal Golf Course used to be across from there. Well, they've gutted that, and I don't know, there's going to be 600 homes that are going to go in there. But the area of South Mountain, South Phoenix especially, is really growing so quickly
Absolutely.
and so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people still want to move down there.
Absolutely.
And I lived there. I moved there about 15 years ago because it was starting to take me an hour to drive to work from North Phoenix.
Mhm.
And somebody said South Phoenix. I'm like, South Phoenix? What are you talking about? You know, it's dangerous there. I don't want to go there. And my good friend, who's not with us anymore, but he said, Alice, you need to go down there. It's a little secret that
Mhm.
you won't hear about. And we did. We drove down there and we fell in love with it. And do you work with a lot of people? I mean, do you have any predictions as far as growth? And,
Well, that part of town, like I said, the city of Phoenix is doing some programs there to kind of upgrade the housing down there. Some of those homes are built in like the 40s and 50s, so they're just tearing them down and restarting it. And there's pockets where there's brand new homes in South Phoenix, but really I think the part of the valley that's going to grow is out west because
Okay.
you know, Bill Gates just bought 25,000 acres, and that area is just going to boom. They're building a new bus company that's going to be building buses, so they're going to be creating thousands of jobs out there on the west side. And of course, we can go all the way to, you know, LA pretty much. So the west side is going to be booming, somewhat limited because of the mountains east of here, but south and west, I think the valley's going to grow. The great thing about working in the Phoenix market is, you know, there's homes for every economic level. You know, you can still buy a home for, it's going to need some work. You can still buy a home for $50,000 in
Really?
Phoenix sometimes.
fixer upper?
Fixer upper, but if somebody is willing to put in the time or has the money to pay somebody to do it, you know, there's ways to do it. I actually just bought a house in December for $25,000 and sold it to my friend, and he's going to sell it for $200,000 after he fixes it up.
Wow.
It's crazy.
There wasn't there many homes. You know,
Yeah.
I was watching Tucker Carlson, and they had that horrible footage of the little camps that they have in San Francisco. And I understand in Orange County, it's not too far actually away from where some cousins of mine live. But recently, I met someone who was, in fact, I think they were from Orange County, and they were talking about it's so expensive to live in the California area.
Oh,
Some
that's
people are actually living in motorhomes.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't have things like that here yet, do we?
Not that I know of. I haven't heard of people living in motorhomes. But I know you could probably buy 2 homes here, or maybe 3 in some cases, from what you pay in California. So, but there's so many programs for first-time home buyers. You know, the people that I was talking about earlier only paid $3,600 out of pocket to get a $136,000 brand new home, energy efficient, the top of the line energy efficiency. So there's so many things available out there, and the lenders can tell you about all the different programs. So great opportunities for people that are just starting out. I also can help people. You know, the biggest thing with people buying a home is either not having the money to put down or their credit. So I actually have some various lenders and some people, if people are concerned about their credit, how to get that fixed. So
That's very valuable.
absolutely,
I remember
absolutely.
it's been a long time since we bought our home, but like you say, the best thing to do is get yourself pre-qualified. That way, whenever you go and you're shopping, then you have that out of the way.
It's already done. So, and I work with a couple people to help people with credit, and it usually can take 60 to 90 days, and they can have themselves ready to get into a home.
I know what I want to ask you about also. They say that the trend now for the young people is they're not really that interested in purchasing homes. They don't want to put the time or energy into it. Is that really true?
I don't know. I haven't seen that. I know it's easy to buy a home now, and because in the Phoenix market, it's really expensive to rent a home right now. For what you pay to rent, you can buy a home. Because I know in some cases to rent right now, you can pay $3,000, $3,500 with all your security deposits and everything. And if you qualify because your credit's good enough and you have that $3,500, in some cases you can just pay that and you're in a home, just like my family did that I was telling you about. So they were actually going to rent, and I said, why don't you think about buying? Because it's going to cost you the same or even less. Probably would have cost them less, or about the same. But to have a brand new home instead of a home that's used, it's been around, it may need some work with all the complete warranties and everything. So there's so many different options available to people, whether it's a brand new home, whether they want to. Another thing now is people are buying homes and using them as an investment. If you have more than one home, you can actually have something called a 1031 exchange, where you actually can help defer your taxes. So you can actually, say you live in a home and you use it as an investment, maybe you've been renting it out, and you want to either buy a piece of land or you want to buy a commercial building, you can actually exchange that. So it's called a 1031 exchange. It's a way to defer your taxes. And a lot of people don't know about it.
No,
So,
I had never heard of that.
yeah, I actually have a lady, her name is Sheila Long, and she's with Old Republic Exchange, and that she exclusively works with that. So,
Well, I will tell you too, you have to have a good realtor and someone that you trust. You know, I know Augie because I've known him for a very long time. But it's so important because there's so much work involved. I think some people think that they can do everything themselves, and maybe they can. I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm not smart enough to. But when I want to do something with that big of a purchase, I want someone who knows their stuff, because I'm going to have a lot of questions.
right,
And just as you said, it could be protection from something horrible happening. I mean, you're not spending $10. It's a big chunk of money of your life.
absolutely.
Okay, we're getting down to our last minute here. Tell the audience anything you've left out maybe, and give your information out so if somebody wants to contact you.
Well, again, I'm with Mohican Associates. My phone number is 602-616-3911. I would love to help you if you're a new home buyer. If you have any questions about the 1031 that I mentioned, if you speak Spanish and you want to have someone that can help you with that. I'm pretty diverse in what I do, and if I don't know the answer, I'm surely going to find out. I know people that can help get that answer for you, because there's so many different things you can do with real estate. So I'm so happy that you had me on this program today. It's been great.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We hope
Yes.
you'll come back. Maybe you and Augie can come and do a
I'd
show.
love to.
And the event is March 15th,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Maryville YMCA.
3825 North 67th Avenue from 3:30 till 7.
Great, be there, and you're gonna have food, so why not go, right?
Absolutely, and it's free.
Great. Hey, it's been great. Thanks for coming in, Mark Weidman. And thank you, Chipsters, for spending another Saturday afternoon here with us on the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Latta. Next week, we will have Gene Colson, who's going to talk a little about his experiences with Reagan. It's a great book out. Thank you, Steve Palmer, behind the scenes there, and also our chairman, Brandon Jones. So muchas gracias. Walk on, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week here on the Chips and Salsa Show, Center Right Radio.
Clear off Facebook.
So we got on Facebook a couple times.
Yeah, we got having transmissions. It could be on the Facebook side.
Oh, okay.
It dropped us like several times.
Oh, no.
Yeah, disconnect and had to
But,
reconnect.
Oh,
and
no.
I should have mentioned that, somebody could go and you can listen to the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Center Right.
And you can, on